When it came to Dylan, who made the decision that he was going to go back in? Did he say he wanted to go back in? Or?
Dylan wanted to play. From a medical perspective, they were like, he can't run. He said, hey, I can move around. I just can't run. I just didn't see the respectable thing to do to put a guy out there who can't run. So, TJ, I think TJ has a bright future. He's going to do a lot of good things. And when I thought, maybe some of the, he might be able to run, what I'm saying, make some plays. But really, at the end of the day, I just don't think you can put a guy out there who can't protect himself. I don't think that's the right thing to do. So, the trainers didn't want him to go out there. But they didn't say, no, he can't. They just kind of were like, hey, he shouldn't be out there. So I told Dylan, I love you too much to ask you to play when you're hurt like this.
When TJ was in there, how much of your playbook? How much could he handle of what you guys wanted to run in terms of putting in the game plan this week?
Yeah, I mean, he did all the things in practice. We had to go to a wristband. Just some of the verbiage and all that stuff. He doesn't get as many reps at it. So I think some of that stuff. On that one drive in the red zone, the play we fumbled the snap. I think we'd have walked in on the screen. We had a great play versus zero call, and so. But he did a good job. I had to call timeout one other time where we were just kind of a little discombobulated with how we were lined up. And so, your first time playing in that situation, in that crowd, in that atmosphere, I thought he did admirably. And if he has to play next week with the full week, I think he'll play really well. So proud of him, proud of his effort, proud of the way he went out there and did it. But obviously, anytime you're starting quarterback, you lose your starting quarterback and a freshman goes out there, it's going to minimize some. And I think just some of the things, had to get into the huddle a little bit more so he could communicate it. Obviously it's not what we had planned on, but it is what it is.
How would you size up the defense tonight? They're obviously good first half. Those two long pass plays got you in the second half a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we give up 200 yards rushing, we're not going to be happy. At the same time, I don't think anyone's held them, for 21 points very often. They were explosive, and so I thought they had some really, really good moments, some valiant moments. But we lost the game, so we'll have to get better.
Matt, what was your view of the play that Dylan got hurt on? It looked like kind of a lot of chaos back there in the pocket. What did you see?
Yeah, we had run the ball, and then he called a play action pass. So it's a kind of a one-on-one shot to Dane, and I have to see the play. I haven't seen it. I think you would say to yourself, I think on that play you're not thinking, it's maxed up protection, like, hey, we're taking a shot, not there, get out of it. I think Dylan was trying to make a play, and it ended up, unfortunately, getting him hurt. I have to see exactly, what happened to see who, what, when, where. But we had good rhythm. We were running the football, and so he ran that play. He ran that play again. He actually called the play action pass once before, and Dylan audibled it to the run because of the coverage they were in. We had the one-on-one coverage. He said, I'm going to take a shot to the receiver, and just, the guy maybe felt like the guy wasn't covered, and then just kind of held it and started running around. So in that situation in the red zone, we just get the takeaway. We'd love to just protect the football and get out of there and get away with points. But again, I look forward to seeing the play on tape.
How good did you feel at that moment? 14-6, you just got a turnover. You're in their red zone, like you said.
I think for us, we know, Link, like I said, I think you guys would know better than me. They score a lot of points a lot of times, right? So we knew we were just going to have to keep playing, right? So it wasn't like any one play was going to win or lose the game. In the third, we were just kind of like, hey, kind of going back to the decision to take the points instead of going for a fourth one. It was just kind of like, hey, let's just keep collecting points. I felt like it was just going to be a battle to the very end, and so we punted the ball. We get that takeaway by Marshall. Obviously, it was a great play, a great adjustment by him, and then we have the turnover, but you're just going to keep battling back and forth, and try to make more plays. At the end of the game to win the game, and they ran the flea flicker that obviously flipped the field on us, and then got the pass interference call to put the ball down in there tight. Other than that, we were holding people. We've done a pretty good job of holding them to field goals. Until then.
Do you guys have a flip the field play that you considered there, even though TJ was in the game, with knowing that it was probably going to be hard for him to do all the things Dylan was doing?
Yeah, I think we threw, I don't know the exact amounts. We threw a couple balls down the field, like the same kind of plays to Isaiah and some different guys. I mean, at the end of the day, we were right there with them. Twice they made contested catches and made good plays, and so our DBs made a lot of plays on the ball early in the game. They made a couple plays at the end. But, we did put a couple shots up there for TJ and to those guys. And then, a lot of things were just read out, right? Like it's a shot to a check down. And, we called a double move to Ja'Cory, similar to the one we ran against Michigan State, and TJ scrambled on it. So, I think we called some of them. It just might not seem like that when you're kind of watching it.
You kind of expect them to run Mayava that much and that way that they did. They ran.
Yeah, we knew the way we were playing them early on that they were going to, we were chasing the counter. We knew they were going to do that. There's always a player for the quarterback. A couple times the player was there and Mayava made the play. So, at the end of the day on defense, you have to get off blocks and tackle and make plays. And he made some nice plays. John made the adjustment after that to kind of, hey, we're going to play the quarterback more. And, that led to like that at the end. We had a nice play where we got the quarterback for a loss. But yeah, that's part of their offense, right? They'll run the quarterback when you chase the counters, and there's really nothing there. Obviously the nice trick play they ran. There's really nothing there that was surprising or it was just kind of what they do.
Can you speak to the energy that you guys got from the crowd at the beginning and being up 7-0 after the first quarter? Did you feel like, looking back, that there was an opportunity to have done even more on offense there?
Again, like I said, Mitch, like I just know it's going to be a battle. I mean, they played Notre Dame to the very end. They played it. All along I told the guys like we're going to play back and forth. It's going to come down to the end, and you're going to have a chance to win the game. Man, we had a chance to win the game. Now, could it have been better? Should it have been better? Absolutely. But we kind of knew that's what it would be like. It's a big time football game. They're in the position they're in as a result of what they've done. I thought the crowd was amazing. The energy was amazing. The atmosphere was electric. I thought it was special. I thought our guys had some. You lose your quarterback, your left tackle. You have a couple tough breaks go against you, and you continue to battle. That's why I love these guys. So I think that's why we're probably, the loss is hard to take, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I thought we had a good plan to run the football and pop some runs early that helped us.
Matt, Emmett went over 1,000 yards tonight. Can you speak on his effort, what he gave you guys?
Yeah, I thought he was, as always, I thought he was elite and caught the ball, ran the ball, made plays, and proud of him. I thought our offensive line blocked and protected well, and really I think the only sack we gave up was that that one on the play action pass that unfortunately got Dylan hurt. Maybe there was another one you guys will know, but no, Emmett just continues to compete and fight and scratch and claw, and unfortunately we weren't able to get the win for him.
It actually looked like he was trying to go, you guys call it for him.
Who's that? I don't. Once he was hurt, they never came to me and said, "Hey, he's up." So I didn't have much. I knew, he's had a history with that ankle, and he was in a lot of pain on the field. So when I walked off the field, I was like, I didn't think he'd be able to go.
All good.
All right, thank you guys.
How tough was this one for you, just coming that close against USC tonight?
You know, I think every loss is tough. You know, this one just hits a little bit harder for me. You know, I felt like there were things we could have done and plays we could have made to change the tide of it. You know, I felt like we came out ready to fight, play hard, play fast. So, you know, yeah, tough one.
Evaluate your night, Andrew. You're obviously involved in a pick and some other plays that went the other way.
You know, I played well, but I feel like I could have played better at the end of the day. You know, weren't able to come out with the dub, so I feel like, you know, besides, you know, the positives I contributed to, there were things that I could have done better to help, you know, even more.
What do you see from the guys? Obviously, it's tough when your starting quarterback goes down and Pritchett went down at left tackle, but what did you see on the sideline as that stuff was happening in the second half?
We came together, for sure. I can tell you that. Like, on the sideline, I felt like nobody was in a panic. You know, we put our full trust behind TJ. We knew he was going to come in, and we you know, he was going to come in and do his job. And when he went down, we, you know, next guy up, we put our full confidence in the guys because we know how well we prepare.
What were they doing with their running game that just kind of had you guys off balance? Is some of the different things they were doing with the running attack?
Just a lot of downhill run. We wanted to, you know, spill the ball to the outside, so a lot of it was just trying to widen the defense out in order for them to run the ball downhill, which is, you know, something that we knew coming into this. So.
Maeva only ran it once, I think, the last two games. He had 10 true rushes tonight. I mean, were you guys expecting him to run it as much as he did on some of those plays?
We knew coming in, like, he would take chances running the ball. You know, probably not as much as he did, but we were aware of him pulling the ball and running with it. So, I mean, yeah, taking that into consideration, I felt like throughout the game, you know, they had to change their game plan. So, yeah, I mean, we were aware of it, though.
Andrew, at the point when you got the interception, he had only thrown for about 60 yards in the first half. That was his first pass of the second half. Did you feel like you had him pretty frustrated at that moment? How did you feel at that moment in the game?
Most definitely. He had threw 2 balls previously. We were in that coverage, and I just, you know, I took a chance. I felt like I knew it was coming. You know, I trust my preparation, and I felt like I was gonna make a play.
Andrew, what at that moment though? What was the feeling on your sideline?
You know, it was surreal. My first. You know, y'all may not know that was my first college pick. So, you know, definitely taking that in. It was surreal just being surrounded by a packed out stadium. Just taking it all in. It was a great feeling.
Andrew, what did you make of the atmosphere and with the way things were going, just the feeling after this one, with how it ended?
Tough. I feel like there's really no like other way to put it. You know, it's a tough one. I feel like you know, there are things that we could have done better. Offense, yeah, it's a tough one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Rocco, was there a point tonight where you thought you guys had this in your favor?
Yeah, I think the first snap, the first drive, I felt very confident in what the game plan was and, you know, how the offensive line was gelling together. I think all the way till, you know, the very last snap. And, you know, I thought, you know, we had a chance. We just didn't execute when we had to.
How much of a change was it just continuity-wise when you're in such a rhythm and then Dylan goes down? I'm not saying TJ's not up to the challenge, but it's just different then. I mean, did you guys feel that offensively?
I mean, TJ did a hell of a job. I mean, you know, kudos to him. Like, he stepped up. Freshman quarterback, doesn't really have a lot of experience underneath his belt. And, he had poise and confidence, and, he trusted, the guys up front. We trusted him, and, he did a hell of a job. We just didn't execute, up front when we had to, get those first downs to keep the chains rolling.
Rocco, a couple weeks ago, it was you in Minnesota where you got banged up and tried to get back in there to play. Dylan, the same thing tonight. What do you see from him from a toughness perspective and a willingness to want to give it a go?
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough-ass dude. I mean, the Raiola family, that speaks, presence for itself. And, I believe in him. I know he wanted to go out there, but his health right now is more important, than, the game itself.
Rocco, coach has talked about resolve with this team throughout. How excited are you to see the resolve of this team next week on the bye-in?
Yeah, I mean, we just had to go back to execution from our process and our preparation and, just really hone in on our skills and our technique to get to where we want to go. And then, when we get, the opportunity, we have to execute in those moments. That's, really just the execution part we just have to do.
Which went down two, which meant the tackles had to, get flipped. Just what is it like when you're moving pieces around to accommodate for injuries?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Riley does a great job with that. I mean, you have to be versatile. Guys got to play different positions in practice. We were kind of ready for it. You don't want to be, but you have to be. The guys did an excellent job just communicating, having their eyes up and seeing what they're seeing. Like I said, we just didn't execute when we had to.
Rocco, this was your second home game as a Husker at night. What would you make of the atmosphere?
Yeah, it was incredible. Thanks to the fans. I mean, the blackout was awesome. Wish we just could have came up back on top, for the fan base.
Okay. Thank you, Rocco.
Thanks, guys.
Questions for TJ? TJ, obviously that was a surprise that you had to go into the game, I'm sure. What was your thought process as you're going in, and how do you feel like it went?
Just goes back to practice and all the stuff that I had to do during practice. At the end of the day, I got to play better.
TJ, what kind of conversation did you have with Dylan as you got loose and got ready to come into the game after the injury?
I mean, he helped me a lot. He told me whatever I need, just ask him. He was helping me during the sideline throughout the game.
What's it like for you to get that first action in the Big Ten against USC?
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I had a good time out there, but at the end of the day, I got to play better.
Is there a player or two you'd like back?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of plays that I'll like back, but I can't get those plays back.
Can you describe the 4th and 1 play, the last play of the game? It looked like Emmett and you kind of got tripped up there on the handoff. Is that, what happened there?
I just had bad footwork on that play. I'll fix that.
Anything else for TJ?
What would you say are like some of the top things you learned from this loss?
I just got to stay ready. You never know when your opportunity is going to come, and practice as if I was the starter at the end of the day.
Good. All right. Thank you, TJ. Thanks, TJ.
Thank you, guys.
Questions for Sierra?
What did they do in their run game? You know, they ended up with 202 running it. Did they throw anything different than you expected, or how would you evaluate that part?
When it comes to the run game, I kind of have to look at the film tomorrow to see everything that they did that was a little bit different. But I mean, yeah, they just had some successful plays.
What was the mood, I guess, like on the sideline, and what are you trying to do as a leader? It's kind of a strange thing where your starting quarterback gets injured, and how do you see guys dealing with that as you're trying to pull it out?
Yeah, I mean, I hope Dylan's all right. You know, I'll definitely be praying for him. I think he should be okay. But yeah, I think that the energy stayed growing. You know, I don't think that we got caught up in what was going on. I think that we did a good job, you know, trying to keep the energy up, you know, and that was what I was trying to do. You know, at the end of the day, we're in the middle of a game, so we have to do our best to stay in it. So I think that the team did that.
Sierra, with the crowd the way it was and the environment tonight, getting a pick on their first throw of the third quarter, you guys were up 8 at that point. What's the feeling of the team at that moment in the game? How good do you guys feel about the way that?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. You make a play, it's exciting. I'm super happy that Andrew got to make that play. But at the end of the day, like, we talk about, you know, what's next, regardless of if it's negative or if it's positive. And so that's a positive play, but we can't get caught up in, you know, riding the highs too much. So the energy was high for sure. It's an electric play, but I think that we did a good job of still being even kill and thinking about what we were going to do in the next drive.
I know sometimes you have a message to the guys after the game. What did you say to them after this one, or what do you want to say going forward?
You know, I didn't have anything that I said to the team after the game. You know, but my message is that we have to come back. You know, I'm disappointed, obviously. But at the end of the day, like, I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of everybody that played. I feel like we played really hard. And, you know, I don't want to sound like we're a victim of circumstance. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, we didn't do enough to pull out the win. So tomorrow we have to figure out what we need to do better. But at the end of the day, like, my message to the team is just don't hang your head and look to what's next, because we had a good fight. So, yeah.
After the game, I saw you speaking to Lincoln Riley. What did he tell you?
Yeah, he was just saying, like, he was proud of me and stuff like that. He was saying something about me being all over the field, playing different positions. But yeah, just, you know, that he was proud of me, and really that was it.
Sierra, when you talk about that what's next mentality, how have you seen that evolve in this team's response and taking on that mindset since maybe when you got here?
Yeah, I think the team has done a great job at adopting that mindset and really living it. I think that I can see that just by whenever something happens, if it's bad, if it's good, people are constantly telling each other that, you know what I'm saying, to look to what's next, what we're going to do next, you know. And so I would say that the team has definitely done a great job embodying that, and that's really just because everybody's bought in. So.
For Sierra? Okay, thank you, Sierra.
Thank you, guys.
Emmett, it looked like a pretty emotional walk for you off the field. What was going through your head? Where did that emotion come from?
Honestly, just losing the game. Losses hurt, and especially losses like that. So, passion for the game of football.
What was it about this one in particular that hurt?
I mean, it's every game, honestly, but losing hurts. And when you go out to war with your brothers out there and you fall short, it hurts. We put a lot of work in throughout the week. So it was just a tough moment for me.
A tough spot for TJ. How do you think he did handle it?
Yeah, I think he handled it well. Being put in that position is not easy, and it was a tough thing for him to do. But he came in and battled for us, so proud of him.
What was your reaction to watching Dylan walk off the field with this injury?
I'm hurt. I'm really hurt for him, and that's all I can really say is I'm hurt. It's hard to see him walking off the field. Somebody who's a warrior who playing every snap with, and then to see him walk off like that just sucks. So may God bless him and get him back healthy. But it was tough for the team too.
Emmett, it looked like were you were back there in the backfield on that play where he got hurt. What was your perspective? There were no other plays like that the whole game where USC sacked him, got to him. What did you see on that one and how it went wrong?
In terms of like the defense, or you're just saying? Yeah, they just made a good play, and like I said, we never want to get our quarterback hit, so that's on us to protect him.
Evan, you got over 1,000 yards. I know it's kind of bittersweet to do something that a Husk running back hasn't done in a long time, but in a loss, I guess, how do you kind of reflect on your accomplishment individually in a loss?
Yeah, just thank God for that. But honestly, it comes down to winning the game, and that's all I really cared about. So, like I said, I'm blessed and thankful to God for the opportunity to do that and give credit to my line. But that doesn't mean anything at all if we don't win the game. That's all that matters to me.
Emmett, what was it like playing in the blackout and the fans around you guys?
Yeah, it was a great environment. I love that a lot. That was definitely probably like my favorite environment since I've been here in Memorial. But like I said, I just wanted to win the game. Thank you.